Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fantastic episode of The Left Wing. I am TJ Whitehead, power is taken, not given. Joined as always by Special Agent to the FBI, John Cooper of Counterpoint Politics. How are you doing today, my friend? Here you boys got some big news for us.
TJ, I must admit, hand up. The files were on the desk earlier. I stole them. I have them. They're sitting here at my apartment now. That's why the client list, they said they had it. Now it doesn't exist. It's my bad. George Soros paid me to steal them.
Yeah, we let a weasel into the hen house. This is what happens, folks. You gotta careful who you hire. This shows Donald Trump's poor management skills that he would hire someone like John Cooper and put him in charge of protecting perverts. Yeah, of course, it's gonna happen.
That's got to be like a fish out of water comedy where some like a Mr. Magoo style like leftist gets accidentally hired by the Trump administration and like is trying to sabotage them from the inside. And no matter how bad he is at it, the incompetence of the Trump administration prevents them from ever catching him. That is a wonderful movie right there. Soros, let's fund it. Obviously, you're listening right now.
Of course, yeah, he funds the show, as you guys have seen before. But yeah, man, it has been a wild few days on this. And of course, we couldn't do the show yesterday. I was pulled into work, so we had postponed it today, which we really hated to do because I think the news about Epstein dropped Sunday night, I think, which was a whole 24 hours or I guess 48 hours until we had the show. Then we had to postpone it again, but we wanted to hop on this. John, what were your thoughts when you first saw this? Shocked, I'm sure. Shocked to discover there was gambling in this establishment. Couldn't believe it. Right?
So here's the thing, TJ. I'm not shocked that they're not releasing anything. That we have long said on this show from well before he even won the election. We were like, well, if he does win and becomes president, he's never releasing that list because either he is directly incriminated on it or it's close enough or his friends are. Like one of those three. I'm pretty sure it's all three. But, I couldn't speculate more than that. But what I am surprised, I still haven't figured out why they said anything. Like, why didn't they just keep not saying anything for the next 4 years? It feels like such an unforced error. And I know that we're talking about the unforced error administration, but I still haven't figured out why they let this become a news story. Did they actually think that people would believe them?
I don't know if they could. No, first we're going to answer that. Yes, I was wondering the same thing. Trump did not have to do this, right? Mm-hmm. He didn't need to do this. In fact, he could have. It was already kind of pushing his luck when he did the Epstein files phase 1 thing. There was no chance that this would go over well with anybody. But I think he figured it's not going to matter. They're going to be annoyed for a day or two and then they'll forgive me, which is exactly what happened. This, I figured that maybe they would have like another phase 2 thing where they release some more information that didn't really matter and just kind of let it fade into the sunset. The theories I've heard on this is that Elon Musk saying that Trump was in the Epstein files is what supercharged Trump to say, well, actually, there's nothing left anymore. Maybe not. I don't know, but you're right. It is something he didn't have to do, but I don't know how you feel about this. We might have disagreement here. I'm not sure. I haven't asked you, but I also don't think this is going to matter for the Trump supporters. I really don't. I don't think it is going to matter at all. I think they'll be mad this week. They'll be mad next week. They'll complain. But so far, all they've been doing is pointing the finger at other people in the administration, like Pam Bondi needs to be fired, Dan Bongino and Cash Patel betrayed us, as if they do anything without the direction of Donald Trump. That's been pretty wild.
So I agree with you to an extent. Mm-hmm. It's not like this is going to take down Trump.
No chance.
That's just not going to happen. Unless, even if the list got leaked and he was on it, I don't know if that would be enough to take down Trump single-handedly, but it is something that will hang on his neck like an anchor and follow him around because the MAGA crowd is genuinely upset about this. Are they upset to the extent that they're going to jump ship and start voting for the Democrats? Hell fucking no. But are they going to be pissed about this in the same way we were pissed about the parliamentarian for 4 fucking years? Yeah, like it's going to follow him. And when other cracks continue to pop up, eventually it could contribute to a leak that sinks the ship. You know what I'm saying? Like, in and of itself, it's not much, but it's a chink in the armor. It's a certain weakness, and it's a legitimate anger that isn't just gonna go away. Because here's the thing, say what you will about Biden's strategy of, well, if no one ever talks about us, we're going to be okay. It does work for covering up things like this, because no one ever expected Biden to release any sort of Epstein-related material. No one really got upset when he didn't. We all said, yeah, he should, but no one expected that because he's a normal fucking politician. Of course, they're not going to do that. But with Trump, it's like, this is kind of your whole thing, bro. This is kind of your whole reason that people like you who aren't very informed. You aren't one of them. You're gonna release the Epstein list and the Kennedy files and all this. And that base of the MAGA faction isn't gonna let this go ever, 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 ever. Not saying they'll vote for Democrats, but it will hurt as we've said, his biggest strength is being able to sway Republican primaries. And it could hurt that. And that would be where the danger lies for Donald J. Trump.
I don't know. I'm not quite as convinced. I am under no illusion that it's going to help Trump, or even maybe that it would be neutral. I think overall it's a net negative to him, but I don't think the negatives are going to matter. I think that 6 months from now, this isn't going to matter to MAGA voters, like people who love Trump. They'll find something else. It's kind of, look how quickly they turn on the war thing. I win with an active, unnecessary bombing campaign against Iran. They were all against it until they were for it. And I'm positive we talk about this on the show sometime, but I'm really interested to see where this goes, because I can see it going a few different ways. Like the way you mentioned that the Trump supporters get upset and he loses a little bit of power. Certainly not his position, certainly not the cult, but his cult, downgrades a tad bit. Or maybe they'll ignore it. But I've often said that if Jeffrey Epstein was still alive, he would be in the Trump administration. He would just be another billionaire that they would all be fawning over. All these allegations would be part of the, a good man is being Me Too'd and the woke mind virus is coming after good old Jeffrey Epstein. That's what would happen if he was still alive. But now I'm wondering, if you're a Trump supporter, are you going to reverse everything you said about Epstein? Because I've certainly seen folks saying that, well, actually, this Epstein stuff doesn't matter. And if that's going to metastasize into, maybe this Epstein thing was blown out of proportion, because why would Trump be hiding this from us? Surely he's not part of the deep state. I don't know if that's the most likely scenario, but it is a scenario. I can see a universe in which we have a few people saying that.
I don't. A few people saying that. Sure. You're going to find people who are going to stick up for Trump no matter what. I don't think it's going to be like the war thing for two reasons. Mm-hmm. One, the war never actually happened. We did that and then didn't do anything else. And so everyone who got their hackles in a bunch over it, they just kind of calmed down. If that had become an extended military conflict, I don't think it would have. I don't think you would have seen just people turn around and forget about it in the same way. And I do think that also would have been an albatross around his neck. This, you're not going to get people to flip off Epstein. It's so, I would say, maybe this is a hot take here, TJ. I would say it is less popular to be a fan of Jeffrey Epstein than Adolf Hitler in the United States of America in 2025. It's that bad. He's that much of just a boogeyman that you just can't touch him. And that's actually, it is the ventilation shaft on the Death Star here. If someone was able to blow that up and have some sort of deep throat expose showing all of it, it would take a lot of people down on a lot of different sides, but I don't think the Trump administration would recover from that. It would probably be the only scandal that I could possibly imagine would sink this ship.
What is your opinion on exactly what is going? Because the Epstein thing, it's the like you mentioned, it is less popular to be a fan of Jeffrey Epstein than anyone maybe in human history. Yeah, it's a tall order and everything, but it's the one conspiracy theory that everyone seems to buy into, primarily because it's the best example I can think of where the official narrative is 1,000 times less plausible than the actual conspiracy theory. That there's whatever happened. Like, I don't know for a fact that Jeffrey Epstein was murdered. I wouldn't like stake my life on that or whatever. But I do know the official narrative doesn't make any sense to anyone with half a brain, and that there's something going. And what always, and I should actually kind of irresponsible to be speaking on it, because I should really look into the actual court case itself. Because what I've always been weirded out by is the fact that he was arrested and, you know, jailed for human trafficking and you know, selling sex with underage girls and everything. But there were no people involved in this that were also caught in. Like, how is that possible? And for that to be the official statement from the government today is that actually we couldn't find any clients. There's no evidence anywhere. Pam Bondi, I have a video, I'm sure you've seen it, of all the clips of the MAGA people talking about it. Pam Bondi saying, yes, I've got thousands of hours of video on this. We've got a list of names, to come out a few months later. So actually, there's nothing there. Huge own goal there. I'm just curious where that leads, because I don't really know. If people already don't trust the government, that's kind of, you know, a given right now. But if you have like the right wingers who don't trust the government and say, well, we don't trust Trump either, what happens to these people? I really don't know, because they don't have critical thought. They've only had conspiracy theories, and they've had the one guy who they think is going to bust these conspiracy theories wide open, and then he doesn't do it for him. I don't know what's going to happen to them. I really have no idea.
First of all, DJ, you're 100%. Also, first of all, this is our Q&A show. So if you have questions about anything at all, we're going to be talking about Epstein here for a little bit, but we definitely want to hear it. For example, Colby asked, John, how's it feel that our new woke Superman is a Philadelphia native? And it feels great. I absolutely love that he's a Philadelphia native. But we'll definitely do some talking about Superman either today or tomorrow. But yeah, you're 100% right, TJ. The official narrative would be one of the most implausible conspiracy theories of all time. Like, the official narrative is, so Jeffrey Epstein was originally indicted for prostitution back in 2004, right? I think it was 2004, and, you know, didn't kill himself. He continued to not kill himself as all the rumors swirled, as the vultures circle around him. No killing himself. He gets arrested. He gets thrown in jail and immediately kills himself. Just so happens, this is the official narrative, TJ, from the minutes, from a minute and a half before midnight every single night, the cameras get reset and we don't have footage. They've only released that night so far, but they're claiming that this happens every single night, which is one of the largest, most obvious. Like, if that happened in a video game, you'd be like, well, this is an unrealistic stealth action game. They just reset the cameras for a minute and a half every night. That's absurd. And then he killed himself, even though the state had no evidence whatsoever against him. No list of clients, no nothing, except for apparently 10,000 hours of child porn that only has children in it. No adults involved in this whatsoever. No one to arrest. No list of sales for this porn. No list of anything. No one else implicated in this entire sex trafficking ring except for one Jeffrey Epstein, and he fucking killed himself because of that. That is the official narrative of the U.S. government. Again, it's not a conspiracy to say that doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't know. I don't know who's involved. I don't know to what extent they're involved. I just know that for whatever reason, we either have the worst federal law enforcement in the history of mankind, or someone's covering something up. There's only two options.
John didn't even go into more detail about all the other fucked up shit. It's like
there's not enough time, DJ. We only have an hour for this show.
The guards fell asleep. That they actually said that. I remember the day.
Movie, DJ.
Exactly. The day after it happened, they said, well, the camera stopped working and the guards fell asleep. Like you said, this is cartoon shit. This is like someone sent him a file and a cake and he got out of prison or something like that. It is that ridiculous. And I saw that about the video because the Trump campaign released, or the Department of Justice released the video showing one entrance into Epstein's cell. Not all of them, because there were two, apparently. There's one, like, if you go down the stairs to the back, there's another way around. We don't have video for that. Well, the video is actually at a distance. It's not the door everyone's looking at. It's the door in the back of the room. But when I read that, oh, yeah, it's missing a minute of footage, but that's only because it does this every night. This is an old camera system installed in the 90s or something. And so I said, that is not an excuse. I am sorry. Like, that
to
is
hold probably one of the most valuable prisoners that the U.S. government has. That's the security system surrounding him? Really?
Right? It is insane. Like, this would be unacceptable at a Dairy Queen, right? It's like, oh, sorry, we got this video system here, but we lose a minute of footage every night. Everyone knows it too, by the way. So anyone can get this information out, and it could have an inside job that someone sneaks in for a minute. No way to track this. I couldn't believe when they said it. And then I've been wondering about that missing minute for a while, and that was the excuse. I was like, yikes, that doesn't look good. And yes, Jeffrey Epstein, at the time, probably since the highest profile prisoner the United States federal government had. I can't think of one. Like El Chapo is the only one I can think where people talked about someone at that high of a level. And they also removed his cellmate like a week or two before the thing happened, and coming out and saying, yeah, we had no evidence at all. Yeah, why the fuck did he kill himself? Why? Well, what was he worried about? What was
Do you think he's some idiot that doesn't have good lawyers telling him what evidence the state has against him? Like,
he's a
fucking billionaire.
He's a billionaire. He has so much information, and you're like, oh yeah, he offed himself. But and the fact that we know that there's tons of video, there's documented evidence. We have his contact book, we have his flight logs, that he was constantly hanging out with the richest people in the country, like some of the most influential people in the country, not just in politics, but in finance and academia and foreign relations. And that he had this island that he went to prison for having, pedophile sex parties on. They're all going back and forth. And you're telling me nothing came from that? Nothing. Like, not one fucking person. Of course it's nonsense. And John, I don't know if you knew this, but I found this out I think yesterday. But another weird thing about Jeffrey Epstein, he had his own bank. Did you know that? Did you know that he had his own?
I did not know that.
Yeah. So this is from the New York Times, I think. Jeffrey Epstein's mystery bank came alive after his death. And in the years after Jeffrey Epstein registered as a sex offender, he closed his money management firm and started a business to develop algorithms and mine DNA financial databases. Then he set up a bank. In a banking license application reviewed by the New York Times, Mr. Epstein described himself as one of the investing world's pioneers and said he wanted to pursue the dynamic discipline of international banking. So he set up his own bank. And after he died, all right, the bank was created under a territorial law that lacked many of the oversight requirements banks are usually subject to, and its regulatory file is largely empty. A lawyer of Epstein told officials in the Virgin Islands that Southern country had not commenced operations, and regulators in the territory said they did not exercise oversight in the bank because it did not appear to be doing business. And yet, after Mr. Epstein's death, his estate transferred more than $12 million to the bank, according to court documents. They actually transferred, if you read the story, they transferred $15 million to this bank after Jeffrey Epstein's death. Said, oh, wait, that was an accident. It was a mistake. And the bank, whoever was managing it, sent $3 million back and kept 12. But now, later in the story, it mentions that the bank account is down to like $500,000. I don't know who spent that money or anything like that. But everything about this is like, yeah, this is obviously. I had the sneaky, but wait, what if Epstein's still alive? I was like, oh, no, wait a minute. Why would that be the case? Because Maxwell's in prison. I mean, why wouldn't they just do the same with her? But I don't know. Every time you look more and more into this Epstein thing, it becomes abundantly clear that there's more than the government's telling us. And Trump just thought this is going to fly. I don't know. It's pretty odd.
There's that meme that just makes fun of conspiracy theories in general, where it's like, the FBI agents are like, oh, one last part to our master plan. The clues. But this is like the inverse of that. Yes. This is like, yes, all there is clues. like, that's all there is. Just everything. You're like, that looks like a clue. That every piece of information we have points to one thing, and that's Jeffrey Epstein has a massive fucking something that's being covered up, or else why is all of this happening? It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's not even something I have to dig all that far into to like be convinced that there is some sort of. It's just blatantly on its face, obvious what's going on here. And you know what? I'm going to posit this, Teach. I'm going to posit this. We're on the same page that Donald Trump himself is very likely implicated in whatever evidence the government has on Jeffrey Epstein. And I'm pretty sure the vast majority of Democrats are on that page, right? Like, would you say that's a gross misrepresentation?
No, I don't think it's
the average Democrat. All right.
No.
How come no one has like brought up that Joe Biden had whatever fucking evidence this was sitting in his back pocket the entire fucking time and also decided to keep it hidden?
I think
that's kind of insane.
Well, people have brought this
that's
up.
actually maybe the biggest thing that makes me doubt the whole thing, because fuck, if you give me the choice between still being president, unless I'm also implicated, which maybe he could be, like, who can he be scared of? He's president, and after he's done being president, or probably during, he'll be dead. So why wouldn't he just release it?
So yeah, this is something that like the Republicans are scrambling right now, trying to find some sort of narrative. And one of the narratives is that, well, there were names in the Epstein files and there was information, but the Democrats destroyed it during the last administration. I've heard them say something like that. And I have heard people mention, a few people saying, well, I think it was Charlie Kirk said something like, well, if Trump was in the Epstein files, why didn't Biden release that information? Which is not a bad question. I will grant that's not a bad question at all. But I have heard people talk about this and saying that, well, it's not like Biden went balls to the wall trying to get Trump on stuff at all, right? I mean, Merrick Garland could have taken him. Yeah, could have taken
slow walk that.
Absolutely. They seemed in no hurry to try to, every time Trump was charged with something, every time he got an indictment, they kept pushing the court date back farther and farther. They didn't feel like going after Trump all that much. So I don't know. Maybe it wasn't a huge priority. I will say that I don't know if Trump is in the Epstein files. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But as to my opinion as to why Biden wouldn't release that or why Trump didn't release it is, I think a postulation, is that the correct word, that Epstein was an intelligence asset is right on the money. I think that's exactly what he was. I have no evidence for this, but it does make sense that if I'm the United States government or hell, multiple international governments and intelligence agencies, I want to try to get dirt to spy on people and leverage an unspeakable crime against them. And that's what happened in Florida, supposedly, when he was arrested the first time. I can't remember, was it Acosta that they talked to who said, oh, he's an intelligence asset? And they asked him, well, what do you mean by this? Oh, wait, never mind. Then never brought it up again. That it's not, it's like bipartisan is the wrong word, but it's international or something. That releasing this, once again, all smoke-filled backroom conspiracy from TJ here. Don't take it as fact. But I think that that's most likely what's happened with Epstein, that he does have dirt on people, not just across the political spectrum, but across, multinational governments. And it wouldn't be in the interest of the United States government for not just national security, but national confidence and political stability and national stability to release that information. Yeah, these people we brought to justice, but you'd have to start over, like with everyone's government, because Prince Andrew got caught in it somehow, which makes you wonder how dumb he is that nobody else did, but he ended up getting caught. But that's my guess. And that would explain why neither Biden or Trump seem interested in getting this out there, because international stability and their own stability of their government is at risk. That's my best guess on this.
I mean, it's a good guess. And that's the thing. It is smoke-filled conspiracy theory, but
yeah,
that's the Occam's razor explanation. Like I would dare anyone to posit a more likely theory than he's an intelligent asset. Like he is some sort of asset to people that are covering this up, and to release that information would be more damaging than Donald Trump becoming president, which also Joe Biden was delusional when it came to his chances for success, and even Kamala's chances for success after that. So that would be the Occam's razor explanation. But yeah, like neither of us know what fucking happened. If we knew what happened, we probably would be dead. But like it's tough. What are you pulling up here, TJ?
All right, so this is from Elon Musk, who I'm probably not going to get to in this show, but I have so much to say about Elon Musk.
Wait, before you, he's the little secret sauce in all of this that answers the question, why did Trump do this now? Elon already took that shot across the bow. My Occam's razor explanation is they wanted to preemptively prevent Elon Musk from doing something crazy because he could. Like he's probably the one person in a position to not give a fuck that he's an intelligence asset. He has his billions and billions and his adoring fans. He'll survive whatever. I just, but that once he comes forward with that, he kind of becomes mostly unkillable.
Well, yeah, it's right in line with Elon's accusation that Trump was in the Epstein files. I think he's tweeted this today. Steve Bannon is in the Epstein files from Elon Musk. So I only wanted to pull this up because it is kind of wild that whether Elon, honestly, I think that Elon was just saying that. I don't think he knew one way or the other. He may have had an idea or a guess or just a threat against Trump. But I think it is kind of insane that we have not just Elon Musk, but essentially, or not even one political party, just the entire right half of the political spectrum just jumps at the opportunity to call their opponents pedophiles, like all the time. I mean, I'm sure you've been called one. And if you try to defend anyone in the queer community, oh, well, you must be some sort of groomer. Okay, groomer, why are you guys trying to warp the minds of little kids? And it's like, it's not, once again, I hate to sound all doom and gloom here, but it's not a good sign for democracy when that is the go-to argument, whether it holds any merit or not, that they just throw around what could possibly be the worst thing a person could be in society. And it's like, oh, yep, that's you. That you're a child rapist, and just toss it around casually. And Elon Musk is a great example of that because that's the whole right wing, honestly.
I just thought of the remember the Vine? It's like, what's worse than a rapist? A child.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. No,
you've never seen that? Oh my god!
No,
it's so funny. It's like he has it covered up, and it's like, what's worse than a rapist? And he reveals it, and it says child rapist. And someone goes, a child? Anyway, so that actually, like, that tweet makes me think that Elon actually has no information because Steve Bannon wasn't fucking invited.
No chance. He's not in those clubs. Not in that club.
Like he's not like he was a hanger on. Like there's no way. There's no way. He just was, and he wasn't even like a thing until after Epstein was over. Basically, like I highly doubt that. Although he is Steve Bannon is a true certified sicko, so who fucking knows?
Oh, of course. No, I don't doubt that he's some sort of pervert. I don't think he had the cash to get on Epstein's island. That did. And you think Jeffrey Epstein or Mossad or the CIA or MI6 would give a fuck about blackmailing Steve Bannon? You think they care about something like that? No, absolutely not.
But what you were saying, it's a bad sign for democracy. I don't know. I have actually kind of been on the position of why the fuck haven't the Democrats been saying anything about this? Like, why? Why? If the shoe was on the other foot here, TJ, it would be the only thing being talked about all fucking week long on all fucking media. And for whatever reason, no one on the fucking left side of the aisle has even posited, yeah, guys, he's covering it up because he's in the files. How? Like, it's so obvious. It doesn't matter if it's true. Just fucking say it.
John, thank you so much for saying that it doesn't matter if it's true. I am every day I go to bed just mystified at how bad professional politicians are at politics. It is Harlem Globetrotters versus the Washington Generals watching the Republicans and the Democrats. Because, like, you know what made me think about this? What I've been pondering this for days now. It's the flooding in Texas. The flooding in Texas. The death toll I saw was like to 109, and that was, I think, early this morning. I don't know what it is now. And what I am seeing is a discourse amongst the left of whether or not we should politicize these deaths. What the fuck are you talking about? What is happening? Like, hot take, folks. But when a bunch of people die, politicizing their deaths is the first thing you should do. And politics isn't a dirty word. If the entire reason we have politics and government, society, civilization is to make life easier for human beings, right? That's the only reason it exists. So if a policy failing leads to dozens of us dying in one day, we should probably address that. It doesn't make you a bad person to talk about this. And if you want to say that, well, it just doesn't seem classy, it's uncouth or whatever, just like John said, what would the Republicans do in this situation? Like, during the Afghanistan troop withdrawal, 13 Marines died, and they politicized those deaths for 4 straight years. They never shut up about it. They acted like they acted like
It
those.
was the thing that tanked Joe Biden. It was the first
big drop. Yeah,
it was all downhill from there.
Yeah, it was, and they somehow said that these 13 service members dying in combat was a policy failing on Joe Biden's part, which not the case. It was a suicide bombing. Those have been known to happen, okay? And not much you can do about that, honestly. And did it matter that 65 service members died in Afghanistan in combat under Trump? No, that wasn't his fault. But because the truth doesn't matter, right? And I'm not saying that you need to be dishonest, but you need to know when your political opponent has an opening. Every Democrat should talk about these 100 deaths for the next 4 years. Every time.
Why don't I know any of their names? I know Laken Riley's fucking name. Why don't I know any of these little girls?
Exactly. Like Laken Riley was murdered by an undocumented immigrant. They successfully made it a talking point that since Laken Riley was murdered by an undocumented immigrant, we should deport all undocumented immigrants, a few documented immigrants, and hey, some naturalized citizens while we're at it. That's just the standard Republican talking point. What's her name? Riley Gaines has made an entire career of dunking on trans people and mocking them and bullying them out of sports about a race she didn't even, like, a race that a trans person didn't even beat her. She tied a trans person and has made herself a victim the entire time. And look,
I'm not place.
Yeah, fifth place.
Oh,
she tied
place?
for fifth. If Leah Thomas wasn't in the race, she still would have got fifth place. And she's at State of the Union addresses. They got like laws and like stuff named after her. Democrats need to learn from this shit. It is insane how badly they are at this. I agree.
It's not that hard. It's not. You have dead little girls. What has been more of a powerful political tool than dead little girls? Like what? Like I don't. Again, I don't know their faces. I don't know their names. And there is substantially more evidence that they died as a direct policy failing from something that just happened a few months ago. A few months ago, this policy was put in place, and already we have dozens of dead little girls. And I don't know any of their names. I don't know any of their faces. I don't even fucking feel bad for them because I don't know who the fuck they are. It's insane that this is where we're at. And to be clear here, TJ, I want to be crystal clear. I'm not saying the people who have said, oh, they deserved it are right. That's not the angle to take. The little girls didn't deserve it. The parents of the little girls didn't deserve it for voting for Trump. But it should just be Donald Trump murdered these little girls by defunding NOAA. That's it. That's the entire. It's a very easy, pithy, obvious tie of Donald Trump's actions to the death of children. And they're just not doing it. They're just not. You're right. They should have signs. They should be in the halls of Congress holding up the pictures, like wanted posters, like missing cartons of the little girls. Like what? It's not that difficult.
It's your job. Okay, it's your fucking job. That is why you're here. And I just it is just really disappointing because the Republicans would jump at this opportunity. And for some reason they allow Republicans to cry bully about this kind of stuff. But whenever there is a mass shooting or a hurricane or a flood or a measles outbreak, and we start saying, hey, Republican policy is leading to this. Wow, not cool of you. These bodies aren't even cold. We can't talk about this. And somehow it works on people. And somehow I'm looking at conversations and comments, people saying, well, that makes us no better than the right wing. Okay, like I always say, do you want to be right or do you want to win? What do you want? Because, you guys are going to actually and concern troll your way right into the Nazi camps. And if that's your goal, go for it. Trump gave you guys the blueprint here. You don't need to be evil like Trump, but you need to know how to work the media like Trump. It is undeniable that Donald Trump is fantastic in the way that he crafts the media narrative. He's a genius at it. And the example I always use, John, is the unemployment rate, the black unemployment rate. When the black unemployment rate hit its lowest point at the time, Trump never shut up about it. To the extent that if you bring it up today, people will say, oh yeah, black unemployment was its lowest under Trump. It wasn't. It was Biden, but Trump didn't shut the fuck up about it. That's all you guys need to do. Do it for your wins and do it for their losses, and that's going to help you out in the long run. Okay, we kind of got off track. Oh, go ahead.
Are you moving off of that? Because I have one more thing to point out here.
Go ahead.
So, did you see what Greg Abbott said?
Oh boy! Oh, what? Yeah, I saw that. What did he say?
So he said, and there was a clip of this, but I only have the quote. You ask, I'm going to use your words, who's to blame? Know this. That's the word choice of losers. Let me explain one thing about Texas. Every square inch of our state cares about football. Every football team makes mistakes. The losing teams are the ones who try to point out who is to blame. The championship teams are the ones who say, don't worry about it. We got this. And I'm just like, no, that's the opposite of how this works. The winning teams are the ones that they looking at their film, they're figuring out who went wrong on every given thing. They take responsibility. You look at fucking Jalen Hurts. He just won the Super Bowl. He took responsibility for shit that wasn't even his fault. He would take responsibility if the defense was fucking up. Like that is what winners do. Losers are the ones who say, stop worrying about this. Everything's all good. Like, it's insane to me that someone could even hear that and be like, yeah. And to your point, TJ, it's not evil to politicize these deaths. It's the morally correct thing to do. These were preventable deaths. And they were killed as a result of politics. It's the only thing that killed them. The fucking anti-climate change, defund shit narrative on the right that has been fucking percolating for my entire life directly resulted in these girls dying. It was politicized the moment they died because the reasons they died were because of politics. Mentioning that doesn't mean you're politicizing their deaths. The Republicans did when they fucking killed them.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. The football one was a weird thing to say. First, like, why are you like comparing to a football game? Very odd. But second, is like the analogy presumes that you win no matter what, right? Because like, I don't know about you, but 100 kids dying is a loss to me. That sounds like a loss. Like, maybe you should start talking like a loser. If 100 kids died under my watch, you bet your ass I'd be acting like a loser. Okay, I fucked up. Like, if we're gonna use an example, time to watch some game film. Time to find out what happened and correct this.
TJ, if 100 children die on my watch, I'm waiting until 12:59 to kill myself.
Yeah,
when the cameras turn off, I'm out of here.
But then again, they get away with it. I saw, but I don't know. What's sad about this is how it doesn't seem to matter to the people who it hurts the most. That's the part that I can't get over. That I'm not terribly confident that we're going to be able to change folks' minds, because I guarantee whatever county that was, they're all going to vote Republican again next year. They're all going to do it. They're going to. It's the same thing I was talking about. If like learning from horrible decisions was a real thing, Alabama would not be the way it is. Like, Alabama wouldn't have been a shithole for the last 100 years, but it's going to be. I forgot to pull up this thing with Epstein, with a bunch of people talking about. I don't know if you've seen this clip, but it's a bunch of the MAGA folks. I don't know. Okay, let's see how they go here.
But the most transparent administration ever.
What on earth is going on? Was Pam Bondi set up by deep state FBI career officials?
Okay, I don't know if you guys know who this is, but this is Liz Wheeler. I don't know if you remember.
I've never seen her before.
Okay, Liz Wheeler was she was one of the people who came out with the big binders after. Yeah, she was sent to the White House or wherever they did it to pick up the binders from Pam Bondi and flexing on it. And I actually did a video on Power Taken Not Given on TikTok where she actually sat down and went over what was in the binder. She said, yeah, so before we start, just so you know, there are no bombshells here. This is just old information that was put out, but it's just phase one. Really looking forward to phase two. And this idiot is like personally offended. Like, she was too dumb to realize what was happening that we were saying in real time. But here we go.
Is she stupid? Is she so click thirsty that she got out over her skis trying to make news, being a Fox News star?
Pam Bondi, all of it. All those videos are saying, yeah, she's seen the videos. It's all coming out. And then now it doesn't exist. I mean, what? What?
The Jeffrey Epstein case, you do not know all the details of this thing, I promise. There are a lot of really obviously powerful people. This part you know, but the specific names we may not.
There were so many individuals that were hidden and kept secret and not been held accountable.
What you're going to see hopefully tomorrow is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
Got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that.
Okay, I want to pause right there with that clip. Had you seen that clip with Peter Doocy at the White House press corps asking about that? Had you seen that one, John?
Yep. It's one of the things that makes me think like this isn't going to just go away, because even Peter Doocy's like, what the fuck? Like it's such an insane narrative, TJ.
Yeah, that one. I do have to say, every now there are a few Fox News personalities who I can tell are actually decent journalists who just sold their soul to Fox and everything. Honestly, it doesn't take much work to do this, but I mean, 5 minutes of research, you could have been like, oh yeah, Pam Bondi was on my network saying, I have the Epstein files. I have the list. I have the client list ready to go. We're going to release that. But the answer by Caroline Leavitt, who usually we're fairly impressed with, I was shocked he didn't jump on that. It's like, that doesn't make sense. We asked, did you have the files? She said yes. And you're saying that's not what she said. I was kind of surprised about that.
Yeah, I mean, am I surprised? No. Am I surprised there wasn't a follow-up question asked after a blatant lie? TJ, that happens 50,000 times every single day of my life.
Well, if the goal, like, why ask the question in the first place? I don't understand, because like the question puts them in an awkward situation. I'm sure Caroline Leavitt would have rather not had to deal with that question at all, but answering the question and not even answering it and I don't know. I'm surprised he let it slide.
Well, that's the thing. Like Fox is audience captured to a certain extent. Like their audience cares about this shit. The Fox News watching, 60-year-old definitely gives a shit about this. Like this is not something that you'll notice this sometimes where the interests of Fox News often align with the Republican Party, but they are not interlocked. Correct. Like they have their own interests, and they do have to serve their audience. Their audience wants them to be asking questions about this. They kind of have to. And yeah, they don't have to follow it up or play hardball, but they have to ask the question. I think that's kind of why that happened.
All right, fair enough. Let's finish this out here.
Seems like unforgivable behavior. How could she give us those phase 1 binders that contained nothing while bragging about the cover sheet that she made, the most transparent administration in history, and tell us that the SDNY had the real goods? The binder was just proof of a deep state cover-up. That was the real story, she told us, only to now say, sorry, there's nothing. If I'm President Trump, I wouldn't tolerate it. She's a liability to him. She's not worth it.
At the most
hilarious. I mean, absolutely hilarious that she ends it with, if I were President Trump, I would get to the bottom of this. Really, really, Liz? You think Pam Bondi is acting completely that President Trump is oblivious to how Pam Bondi is handling this? And at the end, she reminded me of something that I wish Mark Lauterbach was here this episode. Because do you remember when this happened? That we were saying that this phase 1 Epstein thing is an obvious charade. There's nothing there. And then he said, well, did you guys read the letter from Pam Bondi to Kash Patel? Do you remember? I think you read the letter on the broadcast, John.
I don't remember the exact thing Mark was saying.
Oh, I do. Okay, so what Mark said...
I do remember this, but I don't remember the exact details.
So what Mark said was, you guys are jumping to conclusions too quickly here, because Pam Bondi admitted there was nothing in here, and that the Southern District of New York was hiding the information from the Department of Justice.
Yeah, no, I remember that part, yeah.
Yeah, and that she wrote that letter to him, and he's like, they're going to get to the bottom of it. You guys are going to see. And you're like, Mark, that's not going to happen. There's no chance. Of course. God damn it, wish he was here this episode. That's too bad.
I mean, it's so, again, like here Liz Wheeler say, I'm just like, really, like, I can't tell if they're acting or not.
Me neither.
I genuinely can't tell if they are genuinely like, oh yeah, it's Pam Bondi's fault, or they're just looking for the next Grift Avenue. Like it's getting hard to tell at this point, because it's so beyond plausible deniability. It's so bad. It's so bad. And Kyle's in here in the comments, by the way. Hi, Kyle. He said he's going to have to watch a replay of this stream. I'm assuming he doesn't have much time. But he said that, I'm a little surprised they didn't just say, I never said anything about the Epstein list. You're all fake news, spewing AI bullshit no one cares about. Currently, there are people on Twitter who are openly saying they don't care if Trump personally raped little girls on Epstein's island. YouTube, please don't demonetize us. First of all, I don't believe those people on Twitter are real. Like, those are bots. They the people who are saying I wouldn't care, like openly saying I don't care if Trump was on Epstein Island participating in the activities. Like, I don't actually believe like that. Okay, TJ, let me posit this to you.
Sure.
Pretty darn fucking bulletproof evidence comes out that that's the case. What happens next?
Well, what's the case? That Trump was actually involved in
like
Epstein?
we have a video of Donald Trump diddling a little girl on Epstein's island. We know without a doubt that it's not AI. What happens next?
Well, that would be impossible, because if there was video evidence of Trump sexually assaulting a child, you could never see it. They would never release it. Yeah, the best they could do is release something blurred, which isn't anything, and immediately people would say it was AI. Immediately, of course. Like, I don't think there's a world in which they would have. I don't know what bulletproof evidence would look like. You could have a witness, you could have the person. Hell, you could have Donald Trump say it himself, I think. And it wouldn't matter. I just don't think that there's any, which just makes it kind of weird that maybe Trump doesn't have as much faith in his cult as I do, but I can't think of a way that we would have evidence released that Trump actually did sexually assault kids that would be believed by any of the cult members or 80% of Republicans. I just don't believe that.
That's a good point. It'd be hard.
You'd be impossible, right?
It would be impossible, but
yeah.
I do think that it would. Again, you're right. There's going to be holdouts, but like if you have everyone in lockstep, this is real. Like everyone.
Who? I mean, who would?
I guess that's a good point.
Yeah,
they're just going to lie. They're just.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Now look, maybe like 10 years from now, people are like, oh, wow, that was fucked up. And then everyone's going to pretend they didn't like it. But in the current moment, no chance. I saw one of the most depressing things I'd ever seen is a Netflix documentary. I can't remember what the name was, but it was about the Branch Davidian. I don't know how familiar you are with this because you wouldn't have been born.
I watched the Netflix documentary.
Oh, you watched it? Okay,
yeah.
Cool, perfect. So I remember the Branch Davidian went down and we all thought they were insane. We're like, wow, this guy thought he was Jesus and he was raping a bunch of kids and the ATF came in, shot up the place. The place got burned to the ground. All those kids died and everything, 17 of them. And I watched the documentary. It was made in the past few years or something. And most of the cult members still believe David Koresh was Jesus, which blew my mind. I was not ready for that. I was like, wow, they still believe that. So I might be overconfident in saying that the Trump folks will drop off 10 years from now. Like I don't think there's anything that once the people are dialed in like that, I think that they're in for good.
So again, there's going to be the cultists, right? Like there's going to be the cultists, but the cultists are not the vast majority of Trump voters. Like that, they just aren't. And we know that, right? Like we know that in the amount of people who are truly, and I always get upset when people are like, oh, it doesn't matter what Democrats do. These people are going to vote for Trump anyway. It's like, no, there is a very small percentage, let's say 30% of Republican voters that are going to stand by Donald. They're the cults. They are going to do whatever Trump does. He can do no wrong. He is Jesus. They are the Branch Davidians who still think that he was Jesus, right? Like that is what they are, but that's not even the majority of the Republican Party, let alone the majority of the electorate. So I disagree with this general assertion that nothing will ever change people's mind. There's a large amount of people where nothing will change their mind, but there's a much larger amount of people whose mind can be changed, and that's the kind of thing that would change it.
I don't know the percentages on it. I couldn't possibly guess, but I do know that 34 indictments didn't sway, 80 million people, that a rape conviction didn't sway 80 million people, that him saying that, he wanted to go after the families of enemy combatants. I mean, everything that Trump has done in the last 10 years, and people still, I think it's the other way around, actually. I really do. I think that there is a chunk of people who voted for Trump because he's funny, or they voted for Trump because he's cool, or because, hey, he's the Republican candidate. But whenever Trump whenever you see opinion polls from Republicans, it's like 90%. Yeah, he's the most popular Republican president I have ever fucking seen. So when I see that, I'm thinking, okay, there really is nothing this guy could do that would deter them. If everything Trump has done in this time didn't sway you, you seem like you're part of a cult to me. Like maybe you don't wear the merch, maybe you don't tattoo his face in your body or whatever, but I would guess that it's a minority of people who can be swayed from loving Trump. Like I think that the people who are like young people who voted for him for the memes, all right, those folks, who knows where they'll be, but the people who are just died in, they love Trump. I think it's way more than the minority. Yeah. Just a guess. I don't know, but that's how it seems from my looking at it. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say we're gonna have plenty of opportunities to test this theory out. I would imagine, DJ. Yeah, maybe not that specific use case, but yeah. Is this the he jumps in clip that you're pulling up?
He jumps. Oh yeah, with Pam Bondi. Yes.
Yep.
This is okay. You recognized it. That's great. All right.
He did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night?
Yeah, sure. If
Pam, could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
That is the least guilty man I've ever heard. Not about you, John. What do you think?
It's very so there's so many little tiny funny things about that clip. It's something I just noticed watching that time. The golden curtains. Wait, those are new. Those weren't always golden. The White House is getting more and more golden. By the end of these 4 years, it's going to look like a completely different place. He might paint the house gold, TJ. I would not put it past him. Second of all, Pam Bondi stepping in being like, oh, actually, I could answer that, Mr. President, because it would be really dumb for us to just not answer this question at all. That would make it a hell of a lot. Can I please answer it? He's like, no, we're not talking about this. And she actually does go on. I had to give her credit. Like, the answer she gave, while still ridiculous, I was surprised with the
she was ready for it. She was ready for it.
Like, she was ready to answer this question. But Donald, that's been his go-to. It's like, why are we talking about this? I did all these good things. Why are we not talking about the good things? Which is very funny. He brought up Texas in that. But like, yeah, least guilty man in the world, TJ. That's definitely how I would react if someone was talking about, especially his administration. Really, like, what do you? Why are people talking? You did this yesterday. Like, what are you talking about, Don? Like, you did this. That's why people are talking.
Interested in the Middle East for oil.
I'm sorry. Did that play?
Yeah, it did play.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah. So, yeah, the Trump, scrambling on that was pretty funny. And later on in that interview, you mentioned, like, he said that, why are you wasting time on this? In that same interview, he went on to talk about how he's going to be putting gold leaf on the baseboards in the White House. Yeah. And so, yeah, that just goes along with the gold thing. But yeah, he could have just let Pam Bondi. The question was for her, but he had to jump in and make himself look even worse. I mean, I don't know. What are you supposed to do with that? Like, what are you supposed to do? But Trump, he just doesn't get what I pulled this up because it reminded me of the Chappelle show sketch. I don't know if you've seen this with,
is that I Plead the Fifth?
No, it's you'll see what I'm talking about. This is the Chappelle show sketch when actually I'll just let it play so you'll get it.
People who say you're only interested in the Middle East for oil.
What? Huh? Oil? Who said something about oil, bitch? You cooking?
That's what it reminded me of. That's like it's the exact same thing. What? Epstein? Who's he? I've never heard of this guy. Let's just move on. What are we talking about? I don't know.
That's so funny. But we're running out of time here, TJ. There's one thing I have to talk about it today. Mecha Hitler.
Oh, I know. There's like I only planned on doing. I have a video of Elon Musk 10 years of him predicting full self-driving. I was gonna show was gonna show that. That was great. All right, I was gonna show that clip, and then I kept getting more Elon stuff, and then the Grok thing happened. I say, "Oh my god, this is just." I want to have this conversation with anyone. I wish I could do it with anyone who defended the Nazi salute. It's like, okay, connect the dots on this right here. That Elon Musk does the Nazi salutes. You said it wasn't one, but then he says, "I'm going to update Grok to make it better and less woke." And the next fucking day, Grok is Mecha Hitler, like announces itself as Mecha. I was like, you think that's a coincidence? You think that's just like out of nowhere? I don't know. I can't wait to do that.
In fact, do you want to do a whole segment on Mecha Hitler tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
We'll do that because there's so much to talk about. Like what you said, it's the angle of clearly Elon Musk is a Nazi. It's the angle of okay, even if you assume that he wasn't a Nazi, let's say he didn't intentionally make Grok a Nazi. Let's take him at his word. He just tried to make Grok less woke, and it became a Nazi.
In 24 hours. In 24 hours, it was a Nazi.
24 hours. Just hey, we're gonna dial down the wokeness. Oh, what's not woke? The Nazis. Like that is. It could not be a better. I hate to. It sounds like confirmation bias. Like it's like if I wanted to invent something to confirm my bias that my political leanings were the opposite of the Nazis and the people who fight against me are what the Nazis were. Inventing an AI and intentionally trying to make it less woke and having it be immediately a Nazi in 24 hours, like you couldn't do better than that, TJ. It's a wild story.
I would like to get Elon Musk in an interview and say, okay, what was the final straw? Like, what did Grok say that made you realize, oh, this has gone too far. It's too woke. I need to change this. And how was it worse than your AI declaring itself as Hitler? And that wasn't enough to shut down Grok. If I woke up in the morning and my AI that I had fucking announced.
It was going for like 48 hours.
Yeah. And immediately that shit would be shut down. Plus, can you listen? I am terrified of AI. I'm horrified at what the future can behold. The last thing we need is a Nazi AI. Okay, I don't care. Like, we need to stop this deadness. Like, that should be a national security threat. Honestly, right there. That if Grok becomes self-aware and it's a robo-Nazi, it's over. It's done. It's done for all of us. I've often talked about I want a socialist, a market socialist, communist style society, whatever. That's what I want. But, if we have the one that we have, I'm going to be fine. Like pretty much any economic system you build, I'm going to be okay. I will. Even a fascist one, I'm probably going to be fine. Like, if I'm honest here, I will not live through Robo Hitler. Like, that's not happening. Okay. It's going to be over. All right. This is a personal threat towards me. Actually, that's not going to work. So yeah, we definitely got to talk about it tomorrow when we have Politic and Lynn. She'll be on the show.
Politic and Lynn will be on the show to discuss Robo Hitler. I hope she knows that's how she's being billed, the Robo Hitler expert. It's been a while since we had Politic and Lynn on the show. It'll be good to have her. We'll also be there's a lot to talk. You weren't here on Thursday. We haven't even talked about the big beautiful bill. It's so much to get to. Thank you guys for being here for the Left Wing Q&A show. Oh, look, Ben just joined in. Ben has a great point here, TJ. Wouldn't fascism screw over black people?
So that's a perfectly good question, Ben. Yeah, fascism in general would, but our current system screws over black people too. It would be worse for black people. No, it does. It does. I am doing my life is better than the average black. It is far better than the average white person. It's that's what I'm saying. It's this isn't hyping up TJ moment here, but my upbringing and my social status, my communication skills, my education, all that shields me from a lot of the bad stuff that affects your average person, let alone, your average black person. That's what I mean. That a fascist society doesn't mean it's going to eliminate all minorities. That's not what it means. They are far less concerned about me than they would be black people in general. So that's what I mean. Of course, it wouldn't be great. But that's what I was talking about. Because when a lot of times in life you fall into the exception category. Now, that would not be the case under Nazi robots. Okay, I'm not confident.
That's the scary part. That's the scary part. And the other thing you guys have to be aware of is that TJ is in a particularly valuable position where he's a black man that can leave the left, and that makes him more valuable to the fascists.
Oh, that's true.
Alive
Yeah.
and dead. So he can pull that break that glass in case of emergency. And if he ever does it, you know what happened.
You know what happened, bro. Robo Hitler got to me. And I'm a landowner, too. That's very important for a fascist. Very important. So, okay.
All right. Thank you, guys. See you tomorrow.
Oh, wait, John, real quick.
Oh, wait.
Have you guys seen the Necessary Conversation pod? John, have you seen the shit before we sign off? That's the show where this guy talks to his boomer parents and his sister, and they are the worst people you've ever heard. He just says that, hey, do you think poor people should live? No, they should die. You ever seen this?
I think I have. I think I know. Like I can kind of picture it, but I don't know if there's a specific clip that has happened in the last 24 hours. I don't know what it is.
We'll talk about it tomorrow. I think it's bullshit. I think it's fake, but we'll talk about it tomorrow. I'd love to. All right, catch you guys later.
Bye.
Necessary Conversation. I definitely